My name's Jack, but I prefer it over my full name, Jonathan Nathaniel White. I'm 13 and the youngest of 4 kids, and the only boy. My sisters, Angela, 18, Rebecca, 16, and Chloe, 14, and my mom, Karen, a successful criminal defense attorney, make up our family. Mom's a hard worker, often putting in 16-hour days, and sometimes being away from home for several days. Growing up, I had to become independent early. I have no memory of my dad, who passed away in a plane crash when I was 3, and Mom never remarried or dated much. She was always focused on her career or spending time with her professional, single mom friends. I'm close with my sisters. They've always had my back, especially since I never had a dad or many male figures around. I'm on the smaller side for my age, and Chloe's often as tall or taller than me. Some kids at school joke about me being the smallest, but I don't mind. I'm easygoing and just let it roll off. I'm an A student and enjoy school, which also earns me some teasing. The boys call me a sissy or egghead, but I don't care much for sports, they seem too rough for me. Instead, I hang out with my sisters when they play soccer or softball. I even learned to play soccer as well as them by the time I was 9. My mom has a twin sister, Denise, who lives 25 miles away. She was a nurse before becoming a doctor after her divorce. Denise also has 3 daughters, Cynthia, 20, Sarah, 15, and Michelle, 13, who shares my birthday. Michelle and I always seem to have a special connection, probably because we were born so close in time. We often played together when we were younger, enjoying more traditional girl games. Aunt Denise and Mom would arrange vacations, holidays, or weekend trips whenever they could manage their busy schedules. Cynthia's getting married soon, and my sisters, along with Sarah and Michelle, are in the bridal party. They've been busy with gown fittings and wedding plans, and I've been feeling a little left out lately. I've noticed the growing gap between us, especially with the constant talk about wedding dresses, pantyhose, and shoes. At meals, it's all about what to wear, off-shoulder versus bare-shoulder styles, and prom talk. Mom just smiles and tells me I'm such a good, understanding son and brother, but it still feels a little strange. One Saturday afternoon, I was watching Chloe play soccer when she suddenly collided with an opposing player. She hit the ground hard and didn't move for several minutes. I was terrified as she lay there, unconscious. When the coaches finally managed to wake her, it was clear she was in pain, tears filled her eyes. One of the coaches immediately called 911. Within minutes, EMTs arrived and began treating her. They started in 4 and spoke to a nearby hospital, explaining her condition and what steps they were taking. It seemed like she had broken bones and possibly a concussion. I was scared and wanted to go to the hospital with her, but they told me it wasn't allowed, so I followed on my bike. The hospital was close to the school. In the meantime, the coach managed to reach Mom, and she promised to meet us at the hospital as soon as she could. At the hospital, I couldn't see Chloe at first, which made me even more anxious. Mom arrived just a few minutes after we did, but it felt like forever. She asked what happened, and I explained everything I knew. A few minutes later, a doctor came out to speak to Mom. Chloe was about to go into surgery. The doctor explained that she had a severe hip fracture, and surgery was needed to reset the broken bones. I started to panic, but Mom stayed calm. We got to see Chloe before she was taken upstairs for surgery. She was more comfortable now, thanks to pain medication. About an hour later, the doctor returned to update us. The X-rays confirmed that Chloe had several broken bones in her leg and hip. They had inserted pins and a cast that would stay on for up to 6 months. She would have to stay in the hospital for at least a week, on complete bed rest, and would only be able to go home if she stayed in a hospital bed to keep her leg still. When we got to her room, Chloe was awake but drowsy. Tears filled her eyes as she said, "Oh, Mom, what a mess I've made of myself." Mom reassured her, "Don't feel bad. The important thing is that you're going to be okay." I looked at Chloe lying there in the bed, looking so vulnerable. I could barely say, "Hi, Chloe, does it hurt much?" She tried to smile and said, "See, you thought the boys played rough, but look what happened to me." "Yeah, you really took a hit out there," I replied, touching her hand. "You had me scared for a minute, sis." Chloe smiled weakly and asked me to hold her hand. A little later, Angie and Becky came in, and we were all together again. After a while, we left so Chloe could rest. Over the next few days, I visited Chloe every afternoon after school. By day 3, she was in better spirits. Her soccer teammates had visited just before I arrived. I knew all of them. They recognized me since I'd been to almost every practice and game. Our town was small, and the soccer team only had one extra player above the minimum required for the state league. If anyone else got hurt, they would have to forfeit the rest of the season. Chloe was the team's best scorer and also strong in defense. Now, with her out, the team's hopes of winning the state championship were dashed, but they still wanted to lift her spirits. She felt guilty about letting the team down, but they tried to keep her from feeling worse. On day 9, Mom and Aunt Denise arranged for Chloe to be moved home. They rented a hospital bed and all the necessary equipment to keep her leg and hip immobile for proper healing. Chloe was already bored. She was an active teenager who hated being stuck in bed, but she was grateful that I visited every day after school to keep her company. She apologized constantly, feeling like she was stopping me from doing things I wanted. I reassured her that I was happy to be there and keep her company. We played board games, video games, and wore out my Xbox. We watched TV, movies, or just talked. I grew even closer to Chloe, and since Angie and Becky had jobs, boyfriends, and homework, I spent more time with her. On day 12, the soccer team came by again, but this time the mood was different. The girl who had been filling in for Chloe was leaving town in a few days because her father had to move for work. This left the team one player short, which meant they'd have to forfeit their remaining 6 games, ending their season. There were plenty of tears that day. They tried to recruit other girls, but no one was interested or had the time. I just sat quietly, feeling just as sad as they were. The room felt unusually silent until Emma, the team captain, spoke up. "Wait a minute," she said. "Jack knows all of us. He's practiced with us and knows our moves." Emma stood up and walked over to me. "Jack, stand up." Confused, I stood up. She sized me up, looking me over from head to toe. "I think we have a way to keep playing, if Jack's willing to help us," she said. "I can't play on a girls' soccer team," I replied. "Why not?" Emma asked. The other girls, including Chloe, agreed. "I'm not a girl," I said. "No one will know," Emma insisted. "You and Chloe look almost like twins anyway. You'd be surprised what we can do if you let us try." The girls all started pleading with me to say yes. "But how could we fool Coach Haverhill?" I asked. "She'll know it's me. How would we explain where I came from? The league is sponsored by the town, not the school. We can check the rules and figure something out." "We'll work it out," Emma said, now with more conviction. "Just say you'll help us, Jack." "Please," the girls said in unison. I couldn't say no. "All right," I said, "I'll do it, but only if Coach Haverhill agrees." The next day, Emma told me to be at her house at 9 a.m. Her mom would be working all day, so the house would be ours. I had no idea what to expect, but I was nervous as I rang the doorbell. When the door opened, I could hear voices from inside. 5 of the girls were there, ready to help Emma transform me into a member of the Honeybees soccer team. I had light, almost blonde hair that I kept long, nearly to my shoulders. It was naturally curly and easy to manage. I also had very little body hair, just a bit of fuzz on my legs. As the girls took a good look at me, I felt like I was being inspected, as if I were about to be sold. Emma took my hand and led me to her room. She was the oldest, almost 16, while the other girls were around my age, 13 to 14. "This is going to be easier than I thought," Emma said. She pointed to the bed where the uniform was laid out. The soccer uniform was fine, but what worried me were the other clothes. Next to the uniform were a light pink bra and panty set, a white pleated skirt, and a tank top with honeybees printed across the chest in yellow and black, along with a picture of a honeybee on the skirt. The knee-high socks were yellow with black trim and the same honeybee image. I had seen the uniform many times, but now the thought of wearing it felt terrifying. Emma told me, "Go into the bathroom and spread this cream on your legs. Let it sit for 10 minutes, then rinse off in the shower. It'll remove the body hair. Put on the panties and robe, and then we'll help you with the rest." I just stood there, speechless. I was getting scared and second-guessing the whole thing. "I don't think I can do this, girls. This is crazy." "Oh, Jack," Emma said, "come on, you promised to help us. Think of Chloe, she's stuck in that bed, feeling like she let the team down. Don't let us down, too." The girls begged me to help them with their dilemma. Emma handed me the pink panties, and the others gently nudged me toward the bathroom, playfully closing the door behind me. They told me I wouldn't be let out until I was fully dressed in the uniform. I was in a tough spot now. I didn't want to let them down. I thought of Chloe, how hard she played and how much pride she took in the team. I undressed and applied the lotion to my legs, waiting the 10 minutes while feeling an odd tingling sensation. I showered, and as the warm water rinsed over me, I was surprised to see how smooth my legs had become. After drying off, I put on the soft pink panties, which felt light and almost weightless. They stretched as I pulled them on, and I noticed how well they fit, giving me an unfamiliar appearance. The thought of it was strange, but I looked at myself in the mirror and was surprised at how different I looked. I put on the pink silk robe and opened the door. Emma took my hand and led me to a table with lights and mirrors surrounded by bottles and tubes of makeup, items I had often seen my sisters and mom use. Emma began working on my hair, another girl focused on my face, and another on my nails. They all talked at once, working to give me a complete makeover. I was surrounded by these girls fussing over me, and though the situation felt confusing, I couldn't deny I was enjoying the attention. An hour later, they finally finished and wouldn't let me see myself. I was led back to the bed, where they helped me get dressed. I stood there in the pink panties, slightly embarrassed, but they reassured me everything was coming together. Emma fastened the pink lacy bra on me, adjusting the straps, while another girl placed stockings inside to give the bra more shape. Then came the skirt, which I recognized as Chloe's because I saw her name inside the waistband. It fit comfortably, and I zipped it up. The top was a tank style, which covered the bra straps but left just a little visible in the front. Finally, the knee-high socks and soccer shoes with rubber cleats completed the outfit. The girls all cheered, saying how amazing it looked. Emma and Claire led me to the full-length mirror, and I stared at myself in disbelief. I had long, curly, light brown hair, pink lips, and glowing eyes with a touch of mascara. My nails were painted pink, and I looked just like Chloe. It was incredible, and I couldn't stop staring. Emma smiled and said, "You look absolutely stunning, but we need a name for you." "Janet," Claire suggested. "Jan," Chris added. "Julie," Connie said. Emma then suggested, "Let's let Chloe decide. We'll show her how amazing you look." "I can't go out like this," I protested. "Everyone will know I'm a boy." Emma smiled confidently. "No one will know, not even your mom or sisters." "I'm really not sure I can do this," I admitted. "I'm scared." Emma leaned in. "Jack, if anyone recognizes you on the street, I'll date you for a year." I thought about it. Emma was the most popular girl at school, smart, friendly, and approachable, not like the typical high school girls. She wasn't full of herself. "Okay," I said, giving in. They swapped out the soccer shoes for Chloe's sneakers, which anyone could tell belonged to a girl. The walk home was only half a mile, but it felt like miles. Walking with the 5 girls while dressed in Chloe's soccer outfit and underwear was surreal. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was dreaming, and any moment, I'd wake up. The girls entered Chloe's room, where she was sitting up reading the latest issue of Teen magazine. They had me hidden behind them, so Chloe couldn't see me at first. Jack didn't do it, did he? I bet he skipped out. Where is he? Chloe asked. We haven't seen Jack today, Emma said, but we got lucky and found a girl who can play soccer and is willing to join our team. Her name is Janet. Here she is. I stepped forward, not by choice, but because the other girls gently pulled me. Chloe took one look at me and gasped, Jack, is that really you? My God, you look unbelievable. Wow. Yeah, sis, it's me, I replied. Chloe's hand went to her mouth, and she started crying. Oh, Jack, you look so amazing. If I didn't know, I would swear I couldn't tell it was you. Then why are you crying? I asked. Because dressing like that takes a very special brother, someone willing to do this for me and my team, she said through her tears. Thanks, sis, I said, and we hugged. Emma stepped in. Jack needs a new name, and we thought we'd let you pick it, Chloe, since he's going to be your new sister. Chloe thought for a moment, then looked at me standing there in her uniform, complete with the outfit and everything. This is tough, but I've always liked the name Jennifer, so I think I'll pick that. Okay, then it's Jennifer, Emma said. All the girls turned to me and, in unison, said, Hi, Jennifer. They were all so upbeat, and each of them gave me a big hug, calling me Jennifer. Now, we just had to convince Coach Haverhill to let Jennifer join the team, and make sure she believed I was really a girl and not Jack, Chloe's brother, despite the strong resemblance. I started to relax as the girls continued to chat. I was getting used to wearing the skirt, and the bra and chests filled out the uniform nicely. It didn't have the natural bounce the other girls had, though. It was around 1 p.m. when Karen decided to check on Chloe. She left her home office and, as she approached the stairs to Chloe's room, heard voices. She knew it was the girls from the soccer team visiting again. Smiling, she entered the room, recognizing everyone except for one girl. Hi, girls, Karen said. I see we have a new girl among you, and she's in the soccer uniform. Is she Chloe's replacement? Hi, Mom. Yeah, this is Jennifer, my sub, Chloe replied. Yeah, Mrs. White, we're really lucky to have Jennifer join the team, Emma added. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Hi, Jennifer, welcome to the Honeybees, Karen said, smiling at the new girl. Have you lived in town long? I don't think I've seen you around much. You do look familiar, but I can't quite place it. Oh, Mrs. White, Jennifer goes to private school out of town, Emma said. She's kind of shy and doesn't socialize much. Well, she shouldn't be shy, Karen said. She's very pretty, and she'll fit right in with the team. I just stood there, trying not to say anything. Karen didn't recognize me, and I didn't dare speak. I just smiled and looked at Emma, who winked back at me. Are you girls hungry? Karen asked. I was about to see if Chloe wanted me to order pizza. Yeah, that sounds great, Mom, Chloe said. I'm sure it'll give us a chance to get to know Jennifer better. Karen left to order the pizza. Afterward, Emma turned to me and said, See? I told you, even your mom didn't know it was you. To her, you're just a shy 13-year-old girl. Yeah, I guess you were right, I replied. Don't worry, Jack, Emma said with a smile. I think I might start having a bit of a crush on you for being such a great guy. No other guy I know would ever do what you've done for us, and I'm really grateful. Karen returned an hour later with pizza, and Brad, a boy the girls knew, followed her into the room. He carried the pizza boxes and several bottles of diet soda. He was wearing a Pizza Hut uniform and, of course, he knew all the girls, except me. He smiled and nodded to everyone. This is Jennifer, the newest member of the Honeybees, Karen said. She's subbing for Chloe. Hi. Brad greeted, looking directly at me. Where have you been hiding? You're cute, just like the rest of the honeybees. Jennifer goes to private school out of town, Emma explained. But she's agreed to help us out and fill in for Chloe. Well, I'll definitely come to see her play, Brad said, winking at me as the other girls watched. I blushed as Brad tipped his hat and left, followed by Karen, who went to pay him and give him a big tip. The girls, including me, watched them go. Oh my God, now Jack is flirting with boys? Emma teased. Let's eat, Chloe said, coming to my aid. The girls dug into the pizza, but I hesitated. I was unsure about eating in front of them. Then my mom came back into the room and said, "Come on, Jennifer, eat. Don't be shy. These girls will eat all the pizza without you, they can be ruthless." I walked over, and Emma handed me a plate with a slice of pizza and a cup of Diet Coke. Chloe, do you know where your brother is? I haven't seen him since this morning, Karen asked. I don't know, Mom. I haven't seen Jack, Chloe replied, barely holding back her laughter, as did the other girls. I stood there, certain that my mom was about to figure it out. I probably turned 10 shades of red. Karen glanced at each girl, still not sure what was going on, and the conversation shifted to something else. A few minutes later, Angie and Becky popped their heads in, wanting to join the pizza party. They were introduced to Jennifer, me, and after some polite greetings, they joined in without asking any questions. After drinking a lot of soda, I realized I really needed to use the bathroom. I couldn't just get up and go, I was a stranger in my own house. Emma noticed my discomfort and, noticing I was fidgeting, said, "I need to use the bathroom." Anyone else? I whispered softly, "I do." Emma immediately took my hand and led me away from the group. We walked to the other side of the house, and I felt a little relieved to be away for a moment. See, Jennifer, I told you no one would know. Your mom and sisters still don't have a clue who you are, Emma said, squeezing my hand. Jack, you're a special guy for helping us and your sister like this. I really see you in a whole new light now. Thank you. It's definitely been memorable. It's been fine so far, but I haven't played a game yet, I replied. Later that afternoon, Karen brought up the fact that Jack was still missing and couldn't figure out where he was. The girls started laughing again, and Karen began to suspect they were all in on something she didn't know about. Okay, girls, you know something about Jack, don't you? What's going on? Chloe laughed so hard, tears were streaming down her face. Mom, take a real close look at Jennifer, and then you'll know. Chloe couldn't hold it back anymore and revealed their secret. Karen stood up, walked over to me, stared for a moment, then exclaimed, "Oh my God, Jack, is that you under there?" Okay, what's going on? Why are you dressed like that? I stood there, speechless, glancing at my mom and Chloe for support. I just wanted to help Chloe and the girls. That's all. Chloe quickly added, "Mom, we don't have enough girls to finish our games. We thought Jack could pass for a replacement for the rest of the season. The rules say that all team members must wear the same uniform and be of a certain age, but nothing about gender. We read the rules twice. Jack agreed to do this, we didn't force him." Jack, are you really okay with all of this? Karen asked. Yeah, I am now. I fooled everyone into thinking I'm Jennifer. I really want to help the girls out, Mom. I can't believe what I'm seeing. You really had me fooled. I must admit, you look pretty good. No one could ever tell, not even your sisters knew when they were here. Thanks, Mom, I said. Well, I'm not sure you can get away with this, but I'll check the rules and talk to Mrs. Haverhill about you, Jennifer, becoming a team member. I'm sure this is just an oversight, and you won't be able to keep this up. Thanks, Mom, Chloe said. Yeah, thanks, Mrs. White, the girls chimed in. I can't make any promises, but I'll look into this first thing Monday. After the girls left, I stayed with Chloe. Emma told me I could pick up my clothes the next day if I wanted. I sat with Chloe, still dressed in the uniform. She looked at me and said, "Jack, you really look good as a teenage girl." "You do." "Yeah, it's been fun. I really like Emma, she's so cool." "You can change now if you want," Chloe said. "I know, I will in a minute." "Do you think I'll be able to play?" I asked. "I'm sure Mom will do her best to help us, and it'll all be legal," Chloe replied. "I'm relieved that Mom isn't upset and that she's willing to help," I said. On Sunday, Mom reviewed the league rules again and found no mention of gender. The rules simply stated that each team member had to wear the same uniform, be between the ages of 12 and 16, and maintain at least a B average. The league charter only required basic details: the player's name, age, school, uniform type, if required, and grade average. It also specified that each player must wear underwear, including a bra or training bra, under the uniform, and must adhere to their school's uniform policies while maintaining good conduct and hygiene. The charter was clear that all players must shower at the high school after practices and games. The requirements were long, but none of them mentioned anything about being male or female. The assumption was that the players would be female, which was a legally problematic assumption. As long as Jack wore the required uniform, they had to let him play. The issue, however, was the school's uniform policy, particularly the need to wear a bra. Jack might not be comfortable with that part, especially if they insisted on strict compliance. Playing soccer in a skirt was one thing, but attending school every day dressed in a skirt and blouse was another. Mom would have to consider the school dress code from a legal perspective, too. She continued her research on the school's dress code, which was vague about gender specifics. The code stated that students could wear blue or black pleated knee-high skirts with a white blouse, or pants with a white shirt. The dress code required students to wear the proper undergarments at all times, but there was no mention of gender-specific clothing. Mom was planning to discuss everything with Mrs. Haverhill later that afternoon, as she was also on the school board and an administrator at Jack's school. On Wednesday night, a special meeting of the Recreation Department's sports league would decide whether Jack could play on the girls' soccer team. I had to appear in full uniform as a witness. All the girls would be there, except for Chloe, and Mom would be there for support. The rules committee was trying to find a way to prevent Jack from playing, but the rules didn't say anything about boys joining a girls' team. The discussions went on for nearly 2 hours. Mom was making a strong case, they had no choice but to let me play. Then Mrs. Harris brought up the school uniform requirement. She argued that, since I was a boy attending school, I shouldn't be allowed to play on the girls' team, regardless of the league's rules. The conversation then shifted to the school's requirements, and things started to spiral. The girls were worried that if I couldn't play, they'd forfeit the remaining games, and all their hard work would be wasted. Mrs. Haverhill said she would bring it up at the school board meeting the next evening. She turned to me and started asking questions about my willingness to continue playing the role of a girl to stay on the team. The rules were clear that they didn't exclude boys, but it was evident I'd have to follow the full uniform requirements, including wearing the appropriate undergarments. I told her I would do anything to help the girls. I even said I was willing to attend school dressed in a girl's uniform if that's what it took. Mrs. Haverhill smiled, thanked me for my honesty, and ended the meeting, pending the school board's decision about whether I would be allowed to attend school in a girl's uniform. By Friday, the decision was made: I would play in Saturday's game. On Monday, I was required to attend school as Jennifer. I was assigned a separate shower, changing area, and bathroom. The girls were thrilled, and I was in shock. What had I gotten myself into? Mom just smiled and said, "Well, now you've really gotten yourself into a pickle."